I am your Spelman sister in the class of 2002, and I serve as the Associate Director in the Office of Alumni Engagement and lead for the Sister to Sister Mentoring Program. So I am so grateful for each of you for answering the call to assist our students in their desired career paths. Some of you, this might be the first time you're hearing of Sister to Sister, as we just last year opened it up to a broader group of alumni. And some of you are old pros and have been with us since the inception. So I'm going to get started in just a second so we can maximize our time and get you back to what you will be working on this evening or preparing for tomorrow. But thank you again for joining us. So, all right, so this is our kickoff session. This is a little bit different than what we have done in the past. Sister to Sister was developed 11 years ago, and it was an on-campus program that really targeted those alumni who were local and who could get to campus. And the pandemic last year allowed us to open it up to alumni wherever they were. And we are grateful for that. And with our partner Mentor Spaces that you will meet this year, we are able to expand again and utilize more technology tools to make our online program successful. So also in the chat, if you have been a mentor before in Sister to Sister, let us know, or if it's your first time, let us know that as well. The program goals for Sister to Sister, basically our program is to provide learning and continuous personal and professional development opportunities for our students as they participate with you as their mentors, as well as their participation in our professional development seminars. We're also ensuring meaningful engagement between our alumni our alumni and students, knowing that Spelman sisterhood and those bonds can be built while they are still matriculating and do nothing more than grow once they leave through the arch and out of the gates. Also, it helps the college meet the goal of ensuring that every Spelmanite graduates with a competitive edge. So this year in particular, a lot of resources and a lot of organizations and companies have come to the aid of Spelman in helping us to make those connections with our students. So there are specific programs that have happened with FYE or the first year experience. There's a program that's being launched specifically for the sophomore class, and for the purposes of Sister to Sister, as it's been for a while, that we focus on our juniors and seniors. It also helps our students to excel in a career and postgraduate opportunity. And prior to this year, because we have not made our matches yet, we have successfully matched over 1,200 mentoring pairs through the history of our program. So the cohorts that you see here are typically where we have serviced our student population based on their interests. So business, entrepreneurship, financial services, and marketing, communications, media, public relations. We've also had a focus on dual degree engineering and IT, education, and I apologize for these being close together, but law was a section, as well as medicine, nursing, and public health. And then in the past 3 years, we've had interest within psychology and humanities careers. Now I know that's Spelman women do everything. And that's just kind of where we started. And through Mentor Spaces, we have an opportunity to have more spaces and have more interest throughout various industries. But this is where we began, and we'll start here, but knowing that we'll be adding more. So just a little look over the program's participation throughout the years and the number of mentoring pairs that we have been able to make throughout the years. Our peak was 2018-19. We had a slight decrease in 19-20. And then of course, with the pandemic, the 2021 school year, we were very pleased to still be able to match 80 students with alum in the midst of them doing everything virtual, including their classes, being all over the US and not having that on-campus experience. but we were still successfully able to go through our program last year. Just a little bit about what we had last year in terms of topics that we covered. So Sister to Sister has gone through various iterations where we started out with one focus group, and that was law. And then we continue through various ones where we've talked about soft skills. We talked about preparing them for career fairs right before the actual career fairs that took place on campus. Also, various soft skills, but this is what we focused on during our virtual program last year, and just kind of get some ideas of what we'll cover. And then you'll have an opportunity later on to share some things that you think our students should know before leaving the gates, in preparation for leaving the gates. So last year we did a session on resume and cover letters in our January session. We had some very amazing sponsors last year. We have 4 just as amazing sponsors this year. And last year, we had the opportunity to have sponsors from Truist Bank to sponsor this session and part of the program with a session on job search and strategies that, job search strategies that work. Our alum, Janetta Bush, provided some personal information or some personal anecdotes about her experiences, and her colleagues in their talent management department supported other information for our students. One of our other sponsors was Novartis, and a really excellent session was given on personal statements and elevator pitches. And then we ended with our Capstone Celebration. So Capstone Celebration is one of our highlights of the program, where we have not always alum, but for the past couple of sessions, they have been alum to come back and share what lifelong mentoring is all about, how you can be both mentor and mentee at the same time, and the cycles of how a relationship can continue to last throughout your years, or it could be for a season to help you get to a particular goal, but always seeking to either help or to gain help from someone who has been in the path before you. And last year's capstone speaker was our Spelman sister, Bria Simone Henderson, class of 2015, who is currently an actress who received a received a role on The Good Doctor, and also was in Mrs. America. So check her out. But she gave examples of how in acting, how mentorship has been very important to her, and how she met Niecy Nash on Mrs. America and how she took her under her wing. So mentorship can happen in any spaces, whether you're in medicine, law, wherever it is. So just appreciating and knowing that people are there to assist you. So a little information about the program outline. So our sessions typically take place on the 4th Mondays of the months of October, which we're here today. November, it will be the 5th Monday due to the holiday week of Thanksgiving. January, February, March, and we will close with our capstone session. So the college is still working on what second semester looks like in terms of visitors to be on campus, but I anticipate, if nothing else, that we will be able to host an in-person celebration for our students in April, but we will see how we are able to navigate and allow any mentors who are able to attend our celebration in April to come to campus. So we are working on that. Stay tuned. We do, again, like I mentioned, have some amazing sponsors this year that are finalizing the topics that they will share with the group. So our topics, or our curriculum, if you will, for our sessions is for our students. And while our alumni are we definitely are expecting your participation to hear what it is that our speakers and panelists have to say, so you can reinforce and give your personal experiences based on the topic at hand. A lot of the time, our mentors gain just as much from the sessions as our students, learning about new things that they had never heard or new ideas, and things that could help them in their career. But we also want to make sure that you're there to hear and support our students, so you can have further conversations with them as the mentoring year goes along. So next month, we will hear from Verizon, and they will be discussing building your personal brand in November. This is the theme. The title is not quite there yet, but they're formulating all of that. But we are grateful for our sponsors for being able to provide us speakers as well as financial resources to manage our program. And again, like I mentioned, the Capstone Celebration, April 22nd, I am looking forward to being at the fourth Monday, but just making sure we can get everything in line for us to be able to do that in person. This is just a brief rundown of our capstone speakers that we've had over the course of the year. Some have been alums, some have been local television personalities, actresses. We've had Susan L. Taylor from Essence Magazine, just a variety of strong women who have achieved in various, disciplines and industries. So we look forward to figuring out who that speaker will be for next year. And if you have any suggestions, we would love to get those. You can always send those to the Sister to Sister email box, and we can get started early in booking a speaker. But the speaker basically, again, talks about those lifelong mentoring relationships and how they are beneficial to their success. So now we're going to go over exactly what the expectations are as a mentor from a Spelman program sense, and then I'll turn it over to our partners with Mentor Spaces to talk about the functionality and the technology features with Mentor Spaces app to be able to navigate this online program. So we're challenging everyone that is a part of the program to do everything within their power to foster positive mentoring relationships. Sister to Sister builds the foundation, but it's up to every individual to bring their best self to the table to build further upon this foundation. So the students were given some things that they should keep in mind and responsibilities that they have as far as being mentors, mentees, as far as driving the relationship. That it is their responsibility to make sure they maintain communication with you, to make sure that they understand that they can't be silent, that if you ask a question or give an assignment as far as maybe let me see a draft of your personal statement or a cover letter or a resume, that they are to respond and reply because it is you giving your time to assist them. So we definitely want to make sure that they are upholding their end of the bargain. And as for our mentors, we're asking for you to commit your energy and expertise to assist your mentee in achieving her goals, and to commit to building a mutual relationship with the mentee, hearing about their dreams and their challenges, sharing your own stories, and respecting any differences that you've had. One of the things that I've always told our students in our orientation session, a couple of things, but one of them is the unique and the beauty of receiving a Spelman mentor is that a lot of times some of the same experiences, whether there's a difficult class, I always hear about constitutional law, and yes, Dr. Pettiscole still teaches it. So some of you may have had that experience and the challenge of getting through that course, but those are things that you can build relationships around, about how to navigate and how to be successful in those spaces. And you have those same shared experiences that could be helpful for our younger students. Also understanding that as administrators and as a mentor spaces, we do our best to pair you with a student that has a similar interest, career interest. And sometimes based on the students that are available for the program or the alumni mentors that have signed up, it may not be an exact match. And that's okay, because the other thing that I tell our students is that anything that you want to know, do, who you want to meet or whatever, there's a Spelman sister who knows that person, knows how to get to that resource or anything like that. So sharing with our students that maybe it's not an exact match. Maybe you're a doctor who specializes in X, Y, and Z, and they are really interested in that. But I guarantee you, if they don't know the person directly, they know how to find, or you all know how to find who to connect them with. But it's not always a perfect match, but we do our best. And understanding that the quality of the mentoring experience is determined by the commitment and quality of communication between the mentee or between you all and the student mentee. So it's basically what it is that you make of it. Also understanding that any unprofessional relationship with the mentee is strictly prohibited, and participants must notify the office on either side if you're uncomfortable with something that your that your mentee is doing, and likewise if they're uncomfortable with the mentee. I don't know, I'm getting it mixed up, but anybody's uncomfortable in the situation. Sometimes there have been instances where mentors have been a little bit overbearing as far as what it is that they want the mentees to do. So if they're not doing exactly what it is that you have them to do, just being mindful that we all have our own path and we all have our own ways of doing things, but just come to the table with patience and understanding. We've also had instances where the mentor was more so looking for opportunities for their child and not necessarily giving the attention to the mentee for the program that they signed up for. So just understanding, the purpose of why we're coming together and why we've paired you all with a student mentee, and just keeping that at the forefront and making sure that you are there to assist that student. And just understanding that the discretion with your involvement with Sister to Sister lies within the Office of Alumni Engagement. We've rarely had instances where we've had to ask anyone to leave the program, but it's just out there that that's an option if things are not being followed as far as the guidelines. And you will receive the full guideline or the mentoring guide in the follow-up email that will also accompany the recording for this session. Also, for any reason, if you have reason why you can no longer participate in the program, personal, need to step away, more responsibilities at work, moving, whatever it is, no questions asked. We just ask that you honor the relationship between you and your mentee by letting her know, as well as letting the office know that you're unable to continue your participation, so we can find your mentee another mentor as soon as possible. And by filling out the application, you're giving our office and Mentor Spaces permission to share your information with the students based on what you're putting in the application for you all to be able to connect. And then agree to give us feedback, to let us know how we're doing, to let us know things that you would like to see. Again, sharing those sessions and those topics that you think are important, particularly for those who are in a position to interact with students right after graduation. We get to hear some of the feedback from our career planning office about how our students could have been a little bit more prepared. If those are things that you could share with this group of students, so that's not an issue when they get into the workforce, we would love to hear that. And then typically if we were in person, we would, say our pledge together, receive our pen. That's still an option to receive your pen later on, but just making sure that we are honoring the commitment to the program, we're honoring the commitment to our student mentee and ourselves. So I just want to pause for a second to see if there are any questions. I see a lot of shouts out and everybody saying where they're from, and I appreciate you all, for those of you who have been part of the program in the past. Also, I know I asked if you were a mentor in the past, but if you are returning as a mentor who was once a mentee, we would love to see that in the chat as well. Full circle moments, we appreciated. Bria Simone, who actually was our capstone speaker, was a mentee in Sister to Sister. So it's just amazing to see all the things that she's done and how she's grown. All right. And then while you're maybe developing any questions that you may have, you can put them in the chat in the Q&A, or Q&A will be the easiest way for us to find the questions. But I want to thank our technology partner, Mentor Spaces, for allowing us to make this possible. When we had to make the shift in 2020 to become virtual, we actually held our Capstone Celebration virtually. And then last year was the time that we were completely virtual. And this year we're starting off virtual, but hopefully in the spring, we'll be able to move to some in-person activities and get as normal as possible. But knowing that we've now widened our net to alum wherever they are looking to do hybrid, more hybrid in the future. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to introduce you to our partners. I'm going to introduce you to Kanal, and Kanal will introduce Randy, but take it away, Kanal.
Thank you, Allison. Really great to be here and really great to support the program for a second year. I see some familiar faces or see some familiar names here from last year's program. So thank you all for joining the Sister program again. As Allison mentioned, we are continuing to support Spelman College in ways that allows us to learn, what's the ideal experience for a mentor and a mentee to connect. We have some new features if you are a returning mentor this year that we're excited to have you go through as you go sign up as a mentor or participate in the program again this year. I'll get started with just a quick introduction of myself. I'm one of the community managers here at Mentor Spaces. You'll see my name a lot in the concierge channel, as well as my any interactions that you have with the platform. I have my colleague Randy Emelo here as well, who has a lot of experience in mentoring technologies and mentoring programs. He's worked with 300 of the Fortune 500 companies in launching internal mentoring programs, and we're excited to have him on our team this year to support all of our mentor orientation and training resources from his past experience. So I'll just get started with a quick overview of Mentor Spaces, and then I'll pass it over to Randy to go through the roles and responsibilities of a mentor. We'll follow up with the process to sign up as a mentor or to return to Mentor Spaces as a mentor if you're participating in the second year of the program. And then we'll close out with some next steps. So first and foremost, just a quick little background on Mentor Spaces. We were started at a very important time last year when it comes to everything that happened in the world with the pandemic, everything moving to virtual, mentoring conversations moving to virtual, as well as the social disparities being acutely focused on by big companies after the murder of George Floyd. And we realized was that there was a lot of companies in the space that were focused on DE&I, but they were really not solving the core issue. And we learned that through some of our research. LinkedIn did a study last year called the Network Gap. And what they found was that there's a 12x advantage that anyone gets simply by a function of where they grew up, the schools that they attended, and then the places that they worked. And when you think about underrepresented talent and underrepresented professionals, they simply don't have the same connections. And you can almost invert this and say that they may be at a 12x disadvantage. Now, this isn't exactly parallel with Spelman's network because you all are very interwell connected. But in cases, in the focus that we have in terms of focusing on underrepresented talent, we're really trying to close this network gap through our technology, even in the networks like Spelman College between your students and alumni mentors here. So Mentor Spaces is simply a platform that facilitates career conversations between underrepresented professionals and experts in the know. We focus on high quality conversations, and our perspective is that mentorship is simply a conversation, and want to make sure that we make it easy for mentors and mentees to schedule on our application. The way it works is that mentees come in and clarify their goals. So we just did a session with the mentees, the students who are going to be a part of the program. They went ahead and signed up. They clarified their career interest and their goals they're looking to achieve. That allows us to align them with topics, which we call basically spaces. So these are community groups inside of Mentor Spaces. There are a number of different types of community groups. You can think of spaces as a way for conversations to happen among around those topics, whether they're soft skills or career interest based, or for a particular program like the Sister program. We have a space for just the program itself. From the spaces, there are sessions that are hosted. So there are group sessions focused on soft skills development and general guidance that mentors can provide. So those group sessions have anywhere between 2 and 4 mentors talking about their lived experience around a topic. Tomorrow's session, for example, is maintaining mental fitness. Very important topic for the world these days, and everything that happened with the Olympics and everything. Just a great references to how people are focused on mental fitness these days in the workplace and beyond. So we'll be talking about topics like that ongoing throughout your tenure as a mentor on Mentor Spaces, independent of the Spelman program that Sisters program and sessions that Allison mentioned that are happening at the 4th Monday of every month. And so feel free to attend on any of the sessions that you want to participate in and lend your expertise. They'll be open to not only the Spelman students that join, but also the larger community of folks from different HBCUs around the country that we focus our attention on. Also, we facilitate one-on-one conversations. And so we'll get into how this works in a second, but essentially a mentor provides their time and availability on the platform. You can simply say that you're available between 2 and 4 p.m. on a Friday, for instance, and that allows us to expose your availability to that to a mentee who we match to you, and they can simply book a time on your calendar and allow you all to connect through Zoom. So calendar invites will get sent out, and you'll get notifications when that session is about to start. So that is functionality that we really focus on and trying to perfect is by making conversations easy to facilitate. The way that we do facilitate conversations, if you are curious about the technology, is that from a mentee perspective, we capture their career interests, their career goals, and their stage in career. And from a mentor perspective, from an alumni mentor perspective for you all, we capture your areas of expertise, the goals that you want to support in your critical experiences. And that allows us to facilitate those one-on-one and group sessions that I mentioned. So why does this matter to you? Just to go into benefits for a mentor, beyond the fact that I know all of you want to give back to the next generation of Spelman women, it's a great opportunity to develop your leadership skills, which are increasingly becoming important in the isolated and dispersed work environments that we all live in. So there's a really great opportunity for you to learn from the trends that are happening in the industry and in the different spaces by connecting with young individuals that are looking to get into careers, learn about technologies that they're using, as well as how they're going about getting into the career path that you're in. As well as allows you to really reconnect with your alma mater and provide support to the next generation. So these are all things that we really highlight as a way for all of you to feel the lift of giving back and what Randy likes to call the mentor high after experiencing a connection with a mentee. One last point before we move into roles and responsibilities, I did want to highlight how we make money or how we operate from a company perspective. So we essentially work with organizations, T-Mobile, UBS, GM Financial, SAP are some of our clients. And essentially what we're working with them on is attracting talent to their organization through the power of mentorship. So we partner with employee resource groups or business resource groups and those organizations that are looking to engage their current employees in the practice of mentorship. And we extend their internal mentors programs to external mentor relationships. So that allows those organizations to build and cultivate that diverse talent pipeline for their organization. So you'll see organizations on the platform that I just mentioned, all recruiting, hosting sponsored sessions, allowing their brand to be visible to our community. That includes Spelman women and people from various nonprofit and university partners that we focus on. And this allows those organizations to really build those relationships. So if you're interested in your organization using our platform after you've experienced the benefits of being a mentor and giving back in this community, feel free to reach out to us. We would love any introductions that you can make to your DE&I leaders when it comes to leveraging mentor spaces for your efforts and increasing your DE&I goals. Okay, so from there, I'll pass it over to Randy, but I wanted to pause before I do that to see if there's any questions from the audience about mentor spaces.
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna take silence as no questions at this point. As Kunal mentioned, my name's Randy Emelo. I'm the chief strategist here at Mentor Spaces, and I would just want to take just a few moments to go over the 4 critical responsibilities that that we encourage all the mentors to engage in, through the Mentor Spaces platform. Now, I got to see in the chat that a lot of you have participated in mentoring both as mentee and mentor. So you have a great understanding of this, and I'm not going to labor it too much outside of, being acutely aware that what the mentees lack are 2 things. They have a lack of confidence because they've not yet experienced what it's like to be in the professional world. So that causes some intimidation. And the second thing that they typically lack is social capital or connections with people in the know in these relevant positions that can help advise, guide, and direct. Now, according to some of our assessment work to kick this session off, only about 30 or 32% of the mentees feel confident right now in their future choice. So you're going to have a tremendous power and opportunity to influence the decisions that they make around their career. And that's primarily what they're looking to you for. And the 4 roles or the 4 responsibilities that we would encourage you to take on in kind of a focused and balanced measure is, first of all, being an advisor. And in here, the advising that you're going to be doing is primarily around setting realistic goals. A lot of times, the students may have some unrealistic expectations. I know that sounds funny, but it could be too high or it could be too low. And so one of the critical roles of the responsibilities, I should say, as a mentor is to simply just help to kind of level set their expectations for what's possible within what timeline. And that has that's where a lot of your advising is going to come in from, or you're going to help to service that need. Another one is motivator. Not, as Kunal said, mental fitness is an issue. It's not only an issue today, it's always been an issue, but at least today, people are more willing to talk about it. And these students are under a lot of pressure and they're feeling it. It may cause anxiety or depression. And these things become paralyzing factors when it comes to, exercising career opportunities. So being a motivator is really critical, and mostly just helping to build their sense of self-worth and esteem, helping them to understand that they are a precious resource to all of our futures, and to help them as much as possible to keep that leaning forward, action-oriented attitude. And then guide. One of the biggest benefits of being a mentor is you've been there, you've done that, you've traveled the course, and it's easy now to look back and help them to anticipate the obstacles that they're going to encounter. Or when they do encounter an obstacle, help them to understand it's absolutely normal. And they're going to get through it the same as you got through it. And they have choices, and none of them are powerless and none of them are choiceless. And so helping them to, with the benefit of your hindsight and your guidance and your wisdom, you get to guide them, in a sense, shine that light on the path that they can travel more easily. And then finally, referral agent, maybe one of the most important roles. Again, it gets into the social capital issue. And as some of you know, and I saw it in the chat earlier, hey, I see my mentee in here. You'll have a connection for life. That's what ends up happening with them. They're really powerful and transformational. And one of the things that you can continue to offer up to your mentees is resources in the form of connections and opportunities. And as you hear of things or know of resources, things they can check out, assessments they should take, courses they should consider taking in order to prepare themselves. This is, that critical role, seminal role of referral agent. So we have a little poll question, and then we're going to ask everyone to kind of respond to this poll, and we'll finish this part of our conversation up. So as a mentor, which of these 4 responsibilities do you think is going to be a personal challenge, or maybe a little more difficult, or you might not feel quite comfortable with? So this is a single select. So just pick the one that you look at and go, yeah, I don't really feel as confident about that one. And we'll have everyone weigh in and then talk about it in a moment.
Let's give it another 3 seconds or so. This is great engagement. All right, let's go ahead and share the results here.
All right, survey says.
The last ones are coming through. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it now. Survey says.
Oh, this is a little different. So let's start with the one we got the most vote on. So 35% of you said that help navigate the inner workings of organizations and career paths. And if we were in a smaller group, we would open it up and I would engage you around your perspective on this. But I think I can kind of guess a little bit. If you're either not in a traditional, you didn't travel a traditional career path, or you're not in HR, most people don't feel confident talking about what career paths are. But I would tell you that here's one of the kind of the bigger pieces of wisdom I can kind of try to dispense, and I encourage with every mentor I get a chance to talk to, is that you don't have to bring anything other to the table than what you have. So your experience right now is more than enough for these mentees. And they don't necessarily need to know the exact right next step to take. They just need to become familiar with what the options are. And you know what they are because you passed through those kind of gates. And even if you went an entrepreneurial route, you didn't go inside a traditional organization route. And so that's really what we're talking about here. Only give away the information based off of your experience, and that will be good enough. And mostly it's just helping them to be resourced and understand where they can find that information. And Allison and others within the faculty can also help you there. So let's go and talk about a couple of the other ones. Cultivating a sense of self-worth and a constructive attitude. 30% of you kind of put that one down. Again, you don't have to worry about being an expert at motivation. You only know how you manage your emotions. How do you manage your anxieties? How do you manage, your sleep, your diet, your, all the life skills that you have are going to be the things that you can encourage them with. A lot of times, the students at this point in their life, they get so focused on making afraid to make a wrong decision. And that's where your experience can come in to help them understand there typically aren't wrong decisions. They're just decisions that lead in slightly different directions. And so helping them to understand that they have the character and the competence necessary to be successful is really what it's all about. And finally, resources. Again, only the resources that you're aware of. Not everyone is a supernatural networker, but because you have been there and done that, and you're connected. Your friend network and your professional network is all the resources that you need to typically help these students who are making these decisions. Just being available to listen and is a fantastic resource. Just be that person who can take in the information that they're giving you and help to either point them in the direction of answers, or what a great answer is. I don't know. I really don't know. I've not experienced that, which is absolutely fine as a mentor. Again, you don't have to make experiences up. You just either have them or you don't. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not really the right one who can answer that question, but based on my experience, this is what I have done or what I did. And it's really as simple as that. Were there some questions that came up in the chat, Allison, that we want to address?
Give me one moment to pull them up. There are some questions of a little more in depth about the organizations that you partner with. So I don't know if you want to answer that one now. And then there's a question about how are the mentees selected for this program? And I can take that one. So basically, in the past, because of space constraints, there were only so many people that we could fit in Cosby Auditorium when it came to mentors and mentees, that we had limitations on the number of students that we could pair. In the past years, we've been able to pair every student. In the most recent years, we've been able to almost pair every single student who wanted to be a part of the program, with the exception of the medicine program, because we just had so many students who were interested versus the number of mentors that were available. And as you can imagine, with their line of work, getting to those meetings on campus were a challenge. So we only had a handful, even sometime doubling up. For the purposes of us moving forward into a virtual space, basically any student, for sister to sister, that is a junior or a senior that is interested in having a mentor, and as long as we can find a mentor, they are accepted. So any student who shows interest, we are matching them. And that's basically how the mentees are selected for the program going forward. What I mentioned earlier, there are some initiatives that are targeted specifically for our first year students, as well as a program that will be rolling out shortly that is specifically targeting our sophomores. So that's the answer to that one.
Yeah, and Ebony asked a question too, and in that one, the mentees that you're matched with through this program are only Spelman students. So you're not going to get matched with someone who's not tied to the. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I will clarify, Ebony. Last year, what we ran into was there's a fewer number of students that we had signed up through Spelman. So Allison and I and the rest of the team wanted to provide opportunities for the mentors to give back. So we did make introductions outside of Spelman. This year, we are looking to continue to recruit additional students who can be paired up with all the mentors here. We've had more mentor engagement than student engagement, but we are actively making recruiting efforts to get students to join the program. You may have an introduction that's outside of the Spelman program if in the next 2 weeks we aren't able to recruit enough students, but we'll make that introduction only if we're comfortable. So we will run that through Allison's committee here to make sure that those connections are only made if we get your approval.
The other question was asked here about, does Mentor Spaces have a space specifically for mentors? In the community, you will have the ability to connect with other mentors. You can simply request to connect with them, and we have features coming out in the future that'll make that a little easier. But we consider everyone in the community both mentee and mentor in a general sense, even though I know in this specific program, as mentors, you have a specific role to fill. But we look at the environment as a give-getter environment where everyone is giving and everyone is getting. And so feel free to connect with the other mentors in the environment. And Gabriel asked or made a statement, and totally agree with that statement, by the way, that that barriers for Black women navigating careers in the current corporate model it's a much different experience. And every mentor on the call today is uniquely qualified to help these students navigate that path. There are, I'll just tell you, in working with organizations, I've worked with DE&I for 30 years with inclusion and diversity leaders. And I know that organizations are more and more receptive to honoring the individual career pathing within organizations to help people to succeed as far as their ambitions will take them. But as we all know, having that intent and then living out the reality can be very different. So please share your wisdom with the students as it comes to these things. And thank you so much. I think that's the end of my portion of the show. We're going to return you to getting you signed up within the application. Kunal?
Great, thank you, Randy. So we're gonna try to move through this really quickly here. I just shared a link inside of chat for all of you to click on. So the first step is to click that link and land on the sister to sister space. So you'll see the sister to sister space, which looks like this. You can do this through your computer or your mobile phone browser to sign up. So essentially, you'll see a request access button that you want to click on that page that pops up. And then click on the button that says request access. From there, click on a way to sign up. So you'll see different options of signing up, whether it's Google, LinkedIn, or Apple. You can choose one of those social login options. So you have to remember a username and password. But if you do want to go through the username and password route, please enter your email and password there and click on create an account. So this will create your account. There'll be a 5-step onboarding process, very quick, takes about 2 or 3 minutes. In that process, you'll be asked, what is your primary interest today? All of you will obviously select become a mentor. So this is, I believe, the 3rd step. After this 3rd step where you state your primary interest, you'll be asked your career interests and then the goals that you're looking to support. So these are criteria that we will use to support the matching process, not only to spaces and different groups that we would love for you to participate in, but as well as mentees when we make the mentee and mentor match. So I'll allow you all to quickly go through that first 4 steps here on the call. Love for everybody to at least complete the first 4 steps. The final step is to submit your mentor application. So this is a little bit more extensive. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes. We want to get your full bio, want to get your information on how you can support others, introduce yourself to mentees on the platform. These are intro prompts, as well as provide your LinkedIn and some other background information. So when your profile is shown on Mentor Spaces as an approved mentor application, that your full profile is there and a mentee can learn more about you before going into a one-on-one conversation or learning more about you through the group sessions that you're participating in. For the mentors who are participating in the 2nd year of the program, the link that I just shared with you should go to this Sister to Sister Space program. And then you can essentially click on login and log in through I should have mentioned that before you all started going into it. But for the 2nd year folks, please click on login. I'm sure if you're using the same email, you would have received a notification that says we already have an account on file for you. So go ahead and log in as you would normally. If you forgot your password, there is a way to remember your password, or get an email for you to reset your password. So I would highly suggest using the same account, so we don't duplicate messages to you. And from there, you'll be able to go into the sister space and join that space and finish your mentor application if you haven't already. So I'll pause there for a few minutes. If there's any questions or any issues that people are having, please let us know in the chat here. Okay, as everyone goes through that sign up process, as I mentioned, the last step is to submit your application to be a mentor on Mentor Spaces. Again, that takes about 5 to 7 minutes. So we don't expect you all to go through that full process here on the call live with us, but we do encourage you to continue that after this call is over, and submit that information. We will accept all the mentors by the end of the week. After your application comes in, and start allowing you to set your time and availability. So after your mentor application is submitted and you're accepted, the next step for the mentor is to essentially provide your time and availability for a one-on-one connection on Mentor Spaces. This will go through a workflow, and I can share this with you real quickly here, where you'll be setting your availability on the platform. One second. That essentially, asks for a time and date that you're typically available. So you can look at your calendar, ensure that you don't have any recurring meetings going on during that time period, and set availability such as I'm typically available on a Friday between 2 and 4 p.m. or I'm available, let's say, Saturday at between 6 and 10 p.m. And from there, once your availability is set, you can also connect your calendar. So I'll just go through that real quick here. So you'll see a screen like this that you can set your availability, and you can also connect your calendar. So once you connect your calendar, that'll also allow us to ensure that a mentee is not able to book a time within this availability if you have a meeting that popped up since you set from the time you set this availability. So if you say you're typically available on a Friday from 3 to 5 p.m., but you did have a meeting that popped up during that time, then a mentee would not be able to book that meeting slot. So that's just a quick way to avoid double booking. And also, when your calendar is connected, we will send a calendar invite to you when a mentee has booked a time with you, so that you can have that on your calendar blocked off. That calendar invite will have the details for the session with the Zoom link to join the conversation with the mentee when that session is about to start. So that is how we facilitate introductions and one-on-one connections. Our expectation is to make a match with a mentee within the next 2 weeks for all of you who have signed up. We are, again, like I mentioned, recruiting additional students, so that may take a little bit longer for some of you, but there are ample opportunities to participate on Mentor Spaces. So I'll just quickly go through an overview here. So as we've all mentioned, Randy and myself, there are spaces on Mentor Spaces. So these are all different spaces that we have conversations.
Kunal, you're not showing your screen. You're still on join. And there is a question about, let's see, after you click to create an account, will it take you to pick select mentor role, or do you create an account fully first and then it goes? Yeah, so I can answer this. You just follow it along. You will not miss the page where it asks you to select mentor. But yes, there's common profile information for both roles, and then there'll be a fork in the road where it will say, my intent is to be a mentor, and you click on the mentor, not the mentee, and then it'll lead you to finish the application. All right. Sorry about that. Back to you, Kunal.
Great. Sorry if I wasn't sharing my screen earlier.
Everyone got to see the great new features on the scheduling. Anyway, it'll make sense to everyone. It works like Calendly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I won't go through that again since we are running up against time here, but quick overview of mentor spaces here. There are spaces that you'll be assigned to after you fill out your profile information within the space. Spaces are led by mentors, so you'll be assigned to anywhere between 2 and 4 spaces. Obviously, you'll be assigned to the Spelman sister space as a mentor. And inside spaces, there are conversations that happen, questions that are asked by the mentees and mentors even to learn more about a particular topic here. And so feel free to share your lived experiences around this topic and the questions that are asked. If there's jobs posted, you'll be able to interact, mentees will be able to interact with those jobs here. Feel free to, if you have an opportunity at your organization, to post opportunities here. That's just a way for you to connect your mentees to potential avenues at your organization. And then finally, there's sessions to join. So simply click on attend. These are all sessions that we have posted for the broader community. The sessions for Spelman will also be posted here. As Allison mentioned, the 4th Monday of every month, the 5th Monday of November, and then the 4th Monday thereafter, all the sessions will be posted here for you all to click attend, and you'll be notified when those sessions are available. So that's a quick overview of mentor spaces. Your one-on-one match will also be shown on the homepage when the session has been scheduled.
So there's another question, Kunal, about providing a level of education. So I believe the way it works, and you can correct me, Kunal, you just put in your highest level right now, but you can always go to your profile and select others and add more to it.
Yeah, feel free to just feel free to share the highest level of education, and then we can make matches based off of that. I just received a message in the concierge channel, so that's another thing I can point out here. This concierge channel is our way of answering any questions that you may have around the platform. You will also get messages around mentor and mentee matches from here in the future. So feel free to use the concierge channel for anything that comes up that you want to learn more about. So I will get back to you, Christy, to get to the Spelman page.
Yeah, and we have a question here. Is there a Spelman only section we should be seeing? So you should be able to go to spaces at the top and click on that and go into.
Well, the way that you want to go into the Spelman only section is by clicking the link that's in the chat. So if you have already signed up, you can still click on the link that's in the chat, app.mentorspaces.com/spaces/topic-sister program, and you'll be able to access the Spelman only section there for the program.
Yeah, I forgot about that because it is a private program, so it's not publicly posted the way these other programs are, or these other spaces, I should say.
Great.
So there is a question in the chat about, is there a career section that focuses on religion or ministry, and just asking about adding those spaces considering adding those spaces.
Yeah, great point. We take requests for new spaces and additional topics that are relevant for mentors to lead. So if you are interested in leading a topic around religion, you can certainly create that space. And Christy Matthews, here's the link again. Oh, I saw Randy posted. Okay, any other questions?
I know that we have come to our time, and I just wanted to give some closing remarks just to say thank you for your commitment, particularly those who have been mentors for several years, those who have taken a break and who have come back. For those dear to my heart that were mentees that are now back as mentors, it does my heart joy to see that full circle moment. What Kanal has listed here is the expectation of participation is that you would join the sessions that Spelman is providing every fourth Monday on the fifth Monday in November, and that Mentor Spaces has also provided other sessions that you see here. So one tomorrow, you can kind of get a feel of what it's like before we begin our sessions. But just thank you for this opportunity, and that this is really relationship building, and that it goes beyond just the career advice. It's really those sisterly bonds that help our students get to where they want to be, and the whole person, not just their career and academics, but from the mental wellness to just building those relationships are highly important. And just to see, even in the chat, how somebody actually saw their mentee on the call tonight from their mentoring experiences from years ago. It's just really testament to the strength of the Spelman sisterhood, and we're just taking it to a different space within Mentor Spaces outside of the confines of Cosby Auditorium. And I just thank each of you all for joining and just really asking and making sure that you go to that next step of being in the Mentor Spaces platform, so we can get you paired with a student. And we're just grateful for your commitment. And Kanal, I don't know if you wanted to go over the code of conduct before we close out. I know some people are leaving.
Yeah, some people are leaving. I just wanted to quickly talk about two more things here. Code of conduct, we want to create a harassment-free and safe community for everyone. So please take that seriously as you start engaging in the community. As Allison mentioned, we expect mentors to participate in at least one session per month as a mentor on Mentor Spaces and part of the sister program. This concludes the orientation session. You'll see ongoing training and newsletters to apply best practices around mentorship to the opportunities that you will have as a part of Sister and connecting with mentees. Notifications will also pop up as those requests for one-on-ones are made and one-on-one connections are made to you. So look out for notifications. We do encourage you to download the Mentor Spaces app now that you've registered. You can simply use the same login, whether it was Google, LinkedIn, or Apple, or your email and password to log into the same account. When you, after you've downloaded the Mentor Spaces app, just go to the app stores on Google Play or the Apple App Store, search for Mentor Spaces and it will pop up. That's a really good way of staying connected with mentees on the go. And that concludes the final notes that we had here. So Allison, did you have anything else?
We had a few questions. Yes, go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, no, you get them, Allison.
Well, no, you could, yes, if you retire, you can definitely participate. Your experience is definitely welcomed. And then there's a technical question about the link stating that I'm not qualified to enter that space, and wanted to know if they needed to raise a ticket. I think that happened to me and I just said, okay, and it let me go. But Kanal, if there's something else that you want to share around that for Corliss.
Yeah, Corliss, I'll get back to you. Everyone should be able to enter this space. It is open to join for this short period of time while we're going through this session here. If you are not able to join, just go ahead and click on request and we'll add you to the space.
But that's all from me. I'm just thanking you all again. Just very grateful for your commitment to Spelman and to our students.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.